I'm Scott.
I'm Ben.
I'm TJ.
And this is a review.
He's back!
Welcome back.
Oh my god!
What's up, guys?
Wait, you weren't just in the background being really quiet for the last 16 episodes?
Honestly, I just haven't had an opinion much of late, so I didn't really feel like talking up.
On tonight's episode, which is episode 19, we'll be reviewing Disney's Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story.
Part 1.
Woo!
Disney's Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story, stars an actor. What's his name?
Alden Ehrenreich.
Stars that guy as a guy pretending to be Han Solo. Watch as they pander to Star Wars fans that have nothing better to do in their lives but to watch regurgitated shit over and over and over again. TJ,
References.
what did you think about Disney's Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story?
A Star Wars story.
Look, when it comes to Disney Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story, it's not as spectacular. It's okay. Do we talk about? I mean, everyone knows the behind-the-scenes drama of this, right? And
Yeah.
it definitely shows in the picture.
This movie started off as a creative endeavor by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and then Disney and replaced them with Ron Howard. Moving on. So
this movie was originally supposed to be a fucking joke.
it was supposed to be a comedy. Well,
it was going to be like 21 Jump Street with Chewbacca and Han Solo.
I think that's the problem, is that like everyone that knew those directors, that's what we were hoping for, and Disney just was not on that page at all, apparently, because they.
Well, did Disney not know those directors?
I don't know,
because they made the only other movies they made was essentially 21, 22, and the Lego Movie.
I think it was the Lego movie,
Cloudy, which are like all great.
Everything about their
like
filmography says that they were going to be doing what they were doing.
Well, here's the thing: Disney has worked with a lot of creative, up-and-coming directors, and most of the time, Edgar Wright excluded, those directors rein it in and follow the pecking order. Phil Lord and Chris Miller obviously did not do that. Same with Edgar Wright. They wanted to keep to their integrity, and they wanted to make their own films, not the movies that they were hired technically to make. So they got fired. You know, that stuff happens anyway. So let's talk about the movie proper, which is a mess, is an absolute mess. And the whole director switching thing obviously has a lot to do with that. You got to start with the actor, though. Alden Ehrenreich?
Ehrenreich, I believe.
Ehrenreich, whatever.
Yeah.
You might have seen him from Hail Caesar. He was the bad actor that Voldemort was trying to coach or direct or whatever.
He's the Western guy.
Yeah.
The bad actor.
The bad actor.
The bad actor.
He's funny in that movie, but he is so goddamn terrible as Han Solo.
He's just doing, like, it is just an impression.
Right. Everyone, like Donald Glover, who
it's really distracting.
We were all convinced that Donald Glover was going to be the saving grace of this movie, and he is doing the worst Billy D. Williams impression the entire movie.
It's funny. There's moments where I do like Donald Glover in the movie, though.
Yeah.
Definitely, think he did a better job than the guy playing Han, but
he's the most likable character by far.
Easily.
And even then,
he still does save it in his own way.
It's like a super thin it's like just because Donald Glover is a very talented, charismatic son of a bitch, you know? It's just like it's of absolutely no merit of like what they're doing with the character.
But the version of Lando that's written or directed or whatever and that's represented in this film is definitely a caricature of what you think of Billy D. Williams. Not even Lando. It's not really Lando. It's just
like a persona. It's not a character.
No, not at all.
Because everyone here is doing and that's true for both Han and Lando here. It's just them doing an impression. Actually, the only OG trilogy character here that's actually done a good bit of justice here is Chewbacca.
Right, Chewbacca's great.
Chewbacca works for the entire movie. Chewbacca honestly works the entire movie.
But it's hard to mess up Chewbacca because he's got the same shtick that's always funny.
Exactly. Right. But he did have more like comedy stuff.
He did.
Yeah, I guess he had some comedy stuff in Last Jedi too.
He always has, but I think this
more than
he was more in the front and center here.
Yeah,
so we got
he's
to
more
see
of an emotional centerpiece of this story than I think Stories Past. He's more of a a featured player here. So
Right.
it's cool. That was honestly like again like that's sort of a nice segue here is like when Star Wars movies just tell stories that
Yeah.
are separate from the main like casual pander bait continuity like
Right.
like following a young Chewbacca.
There were so many shots in this movie of Han Solo passing over those stupid fucking dice.
Yeah.
When in the original trilogy, I'm talking New Hope, Jedi, all that. Were the dice like just on his dashboard? Was that a big deal?
I think they were just hanging from his rearview mirror.
Yeah.
They've made that in.
They made
It's
it
like
into
this
a
huge
thing
talisman
in
for
the
some
Last
reason.
Jedi. They,
Yeah.
like turned it into a thing, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
"What are the gold dice about?" And then they like started to notice it was a Han Solo thing.
And this is like the thing is like Han Solo works in the old movies because he's a mysterious smuggler. He comes out of nowhere.
He's a rapscallion.
He's a
well,
rapscallion.
he's cocky.
He's
like,
confident. He knows what he's doing. This portrayal of the character is such a little bitch. Like that's the only way I can describe it. Like they neutered this character.
He has this oh shucks origin story. He's like, I gotta get my girl back the quickest way possible. I'm gonna be a pilot for the Empire.
Yeah.
And then like we get a hard cut to 3 years later, and it's like almost like again could be cool, like a more Saving Private Ryan style, like in the vein of Rogue One battle sequence.
Yeah. Well, there's this underlying theme that everyone keeps trying to tell Han that he's the good guy. And that really undercuts what we see of him in the first movie, the first Star Wars movie, in A New Hope, because it's supposed to be that he is a villain. He is a smuggler. He's a criminal.
And he's reformed over time.
In that movie. Yeah, he's not good in the beginning of that movie.
Yeah.
It's not like he's so jaded by what happened. Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
And like you completely negate the events then of a movie like in Force Awakens that just came out a few years ago now because
Right.
like the whole point of why that his death works so well is because like
It's the end of his arc.
It's the end of his arc. It's him trying to be selfless and saving
right.
Which
Kylo.
he's never done
He's
before,
never done before
meeting Luke
because
or
he
Obi-Wan.
gives a shit. Yeah.
So that aside, that's all that's like completely true, and it's like that's why this character doesn't work. They retroactively made it's like obviously nobody is who they are at the end of their life when they're kids. There's a lot of growing that you have to go through, but it's way too like every little nuance of Han Solo that we know is like different characters in this movie like giving him them like passing it like oh well, what about this and giving him the gun and here's the dice and here's this. It's like his character was created by this movie basically. That's
right,
what they're
it was
setting
kind
up.
of like a one long prologue, like if you're playing an RPG and you're
Yeah.
like filling out your character sheet. This was like Han Solo figuring out his character sheet.
Yeah.
The movie.
And it's just
And then it ends with him getting the Millennium Falcon. Oh, spoiler.
wow, what a spoiler. Yeah, oh, that was one of the worst scenes in the movie where like you go through this entire journey and there is a scene early on where Han meets Lando, they have this big card game. It's kind of neat.
And it's like a cool version of
fine.
the bad scene.
It's
Right.
fine.
And then at the end of the movie, the last scene, they repeat the scene and they do it again. And it's after 2 hours of bad movie, and it's like, why are we doing this? Just stop. Just stop.
It's like I think it speaks too about like the Star Wars franchise fatigue overall. That's definitely a real thing now because like
Yeah,
they're undoing like 3 years ago. Not
They've
even
gotten
3
real
years
loose
ago.
with it.
Han has this heroic death in Force Awakens that could have paid off in like thematic spades in Episode 9. And now that's literally completely undone like, by this movie because you negate the arc. You negate like him being like the scoundrel turned good guy over time.
Right.
You have like, oh, he was Mama Dunn.
He
Just
could
like
have always been morally questionable. He doesn't have to be outward evil or like a bad guy, but he should always have questionable judgment. Like
he should always be wascally.
Out for himself
You know?
more.
he's more
He's
more
not
like
he's
good-
too selfless.
Exactly.
He's more good-hearted than like Star-Lord, I feel like. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
Star-Lord is like kind of a junior version of Han.
Right.
Or
Well,
like
to be fair,
about, like
here's the thing is that another problem here is that we have no idea what time period this takes place. Like we know it's before Rogue One and after the third prequel.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like how old is this character? What has happened? Like the timing and the spatial awareness of the movie is very like, what is going on? What's happening?
It's never like firmly clear. Besides that 3 years later,
right.
Our jump, we have no idea where this takes place, like in relative to everything else.
Let's pull it back a little bit and just say, like, basically this movie, what you got here is your introduction to Han Solo. He's got his little Game of Thrones girlfriend, Emilia Clarke. They get separated. He leaves. She stays. He goes through some shit, meets Woody Harrelson. Then they go on the heist. That's basically the movie, right? The beginning, the setup is not bad. You got an interesting setup. You've got some competent filmmaking. The filmmaking throughout is never, like, bad. It's the writing and the directing that seems bad. Yeah.
It's like, it feels like the too many cooks, like...
Well, the first
technical aspects there, but the creative content is
it's very creatively neutered.
Like how Han meets Chewie, not bad. How the whole first train scene, which is a lot like the first Captain America train heist. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that was a neat scene.
Oh, yeah.
But same like setting, same idea. But like it was neat. It was well done. It uses the Star Wars universe well. Thandie Newton's there. They kind of underutilize her. She was only in it for a scene. Like
overall, there's
her
some
arc's totally negated by that character throughout the story too, which is disappointing. Because if she had died in it, sorry, once again, spoiler.
We're going with spoilers. Sorry.
Right.
I will say overall, like, you know, a credit to Ron Howard. This did have, I think, the most interesting aesthetic of this new crop of Star Wars movies. It has like a very, like an organic, like sort of tactile feel. Everything feels very textured.
I love the feeling of this movie. Like
it felt grounded.
The production design.
It was
and
really well done.
The puppets and the aliens and all that. They're not like some of these other newer Star Wars movies where they just go way too far. They're like pretty well done, I think. Mostly. There's a couple that are like really, but you know, like that weird Willow character. What was he doing? I'm just kidding. Weird cameo by that guy. What's that actor's name?
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis, he makes a little cameo here.
Yeah.
Dude, how about Cliff Howard?
Cliff Howard, some good cameos. But once it kind of gets to the final, like the second act, kind of like, okay, we're going to this other heist. Then it just gets way like as soon as they meet. You know, a lot of people said when Donald Glover gets on the scene, that's when the movie gets better. That's actually where it gets the worst. That's where it turns into Star Wars pander trash, the movie.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, there's a few references here and there, but it actually feels like a unique, separate story from the Luke Skywalker family, Darth Vader, Death Star shit that we see in every movie.
Exactly. And then, dude, like, it felt like I was getting beaten into submission
by the pandering.
By the fucking pandering.
Yeah.
This was shameful. Yeah. This was really, really, really like offensively on the nose, like hard tilt, like into like, nope, it's literally the same shit we've been doing. The Resistance and
so there's a thing we got to talk about is the rebels in this movie, which it's not revealed. It's like the big reveal of this movie. This is like the start of the rebellion, I guess. I think that's what's going on here.
It's like part rebellion origin story.
So there's these like marauder pirate people chasing Han and their group the entire movie, and you find out at the end that they're all the different people the Empire has fucked over, and like they're the rebellion. And it's just like such a disconnect from any kind of rebellion we've ever seen in Star Wars where they're like this weird tribalistic group of marauders. And it's like, what?
And it's wholly separate from the story of Han. It's just like...
Yeah, they bring it in. They bring in this...
It's like jammed in there.
Think about Star Wars 2 and just think about the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, when that happens, you get the feeling that the rebellion's been around forever and like maybe even pre-Han. And then, like, now because of this movie, you're understanding that, like, Han was around and, like, older than maybe the person who started the rebellion. Because why was she, like, a kid?
Why was it that this big reveal, when they takes her masks off, and they're like, who is this chick? There's, like, this redheaded chick that was, like, leading the rebellion. She's like, I need a drink. It's like,
right, are we supposed to know who she was?
Absolutely no context.
The thing is that this movie is the only live-action Star Wars film that directly takes place in the timeline, continuity, whatever, of the cartoons. the Clone Wars cartoon, the kind of post...
The Cartoon Network, Netflix stuff.
Which I've heard those are good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them. But...
And that leads directly into the big spoiler here, which is a spoiler, our end movie cameo by none other than Phantom Menace baddie Darth motherfucking Maul. Is revealed that Emilia Clarke was working for him the whole time, and he's like the big... He survived Phantom Menace. He's got robot legs now. I know that's all continuity in the cartoons.
They didn't show his robot legs.
They did.
Oh, they did?
They not only... They panned up from the robot legs in the hologram, and
I meant like the spider ones.
Oh, no, so in the show, apparently, he gets the spider ones first, and then his brother, who has a really stupid name, too, gives him regular, like, bipedal robot legs
Derek
like you saw.
Maul?
It was like it was like Proxima Midnight or whatever. Like, I know.
Didn't he say he's on planet Darthior or Darthium?
Probably.
He's like, I'm on planet Darthium.
Like,
Did he name it?
Darth is the title of the Sith Lords. Like they try to explain every bit of Star Wars mythos with a fucking plot point.
I'm sure that was some stupid extended fiction canon that actually is like Star Wars fans. That's the thing, is there's all this extended canon going on here, which if you're a diehard Star Wars fan, you might be creaming in your Star Wars underoos over this shit, but like... This has never been in any of the films. As far as we know, Darth Maul's been dead since those terrible movies, and nobody cares about him, so it's like, what is going on? What the fuck?
Well, but now you gotta be thinking as a fan, if you're not into the lore and stuff, like, wait, is he gonna be in the next movie? Because they just announced the Boba Fett movie and, like, all this stuff.
And it's been announced, I think, that the Obi-Wan movie takes place after the Solo movie, so obvious,
Is that official?
I think it is. Yeah. I think they're officially doing that now.
There's a lot of smoke around it. I don't think it's been like...
I don't think they've like come out and said like it's a thing, but
there's
like...
been enough rumblings about it to where, and like Ewan McGregor doing this fucking Christopher Robin movie, now he's in with Disney.
Well, he's gonna be in high demand once that releases.
He did a voice for The Force Awakens. He was in that voice montage with Yoda and all those other people where Rey was like tripping balls on the Force.
Oh, no shit.
Ewan McDonald, he was there. But, you know, this movie, I gotta say, though, like, we're coming down on it hard. The one thing I will say that is a positive, besides, like, the production design and some of the set pieces, is it has a consistent feeling from start to finish. It feels like a whole movie, which is surprising considering what actually it's not really. But
this is definitely a better film than Rogue One. I think
like Rogue One and even the Last Jedi, this feels more like a unified vision than both of those movies, which feel very like splattershot all over the place. Mm-hmm. And this feels like a bad vision, but it at least feels like they were going for one consistent movie the entire time.
Which is a credit to them. I mean, with the director turnover,
that's Ron Howard.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
That's why they brought him in.
Yeah, he knows how to get the job done. He's not adding a lot creatively himself, but he's just shooting the movie well and making it work, which he did the best he could, I think. I don't blame Ron Howard for this mess at all.
No,
I think he did the best he could.
Yeah.
If anything, I mean, I'm walking away from this with more respect from Ron Howard.
Credit to him to that,
So we got to also talk about the horrible reveal of Han Solo's name, because he's just Han, and then he goes to join the military. They're like, "What tribe do you belong to?" I'm alone. Han Solo. Well, I'm not exaggerating. That's what happens.
The guy like smirks. He's like, Solo. It's like essentially the moment.
Yeah. It's like all these moments. It's like it's not inherently wrong to do a prequel movie about a popular franchise and explain how they got there. But like if literally the payoff is to a setup is now that's the thing from the other movie, that's dumb. You can have a payoff to something that you know and have it be integrated with a different story.
Yeah.
But if you just say like, what's your last name? I don't have one. Han Solo. Applause for Big Bang Theory laugh track. Hilarious! You know, like
that didn't slap my knee at the time now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that sort of gets to how, like, with the director turnover, there are several moments to where you can tell that it was a Lord and Miller. Like, that, Garen goddamn T.
The big
that
one
was a fucking joke in the Lord Miller movie,
and like they just didn't know what to do.
Jump Street,
yeah,
and they just had no idea how to write themselves out of that hole.
The big one where like I was laughing my ass off in the theater and I felt really bad because nobody else was. But like there's this robot, like PC robot. It's Lando's like co-pilot.
Woke bot.
Yeah, she's trying to start like a revolution for equal rights for robots. Whatever. It's really bad, and she gets shot the fuck up. Like she gets blasted in half, and Lando, in a weird move, runs out to try to save her. And like
because there's this whole bit earlier where
that
like
he's
Lando
in love with her,
might be in love with her, and she like admits that to Emilia Clarke.
The stuff with Lando's weird. They go some weird places with Lando.
It's really bizarre.
But like he's running, like Donald Glover as Lando is running to the ship holding this robot as it's dying, and like it keeps getting shot,
and like it's got apart more.
Yeah, it like splits in half, like the torso.
It's hilarious. But they've got this dramatic music playing, and I think it's supposed to be in this movie, not the original movie. I think it's supposed to be a serious dramatic moment, and I was dying laughing. Oh my god!
Biting my fist, trying not to just lose my shit.
I literally like.
That's got to be a Lord and Miller bit of comedy that
they just slap dramatic music on it. Yeah. Like Donald Glover, like,
I could even see them having dramatic music, but like
as a joke,
it being funny in the context,
like literally being over the top. Yeah, exactly.
Right,
and like the way Donald Glover was playing it felt like fucking joke. It's so over the top. It's like so bad.
Yeah, Donald Glover, who's basically just Troy from Community doing a Lando impression. That's what this feels like the entire movie.
Yeah.
And you got Woody Harrelson doing nothing here. He's just being Woody Harrelson, like whatever.
But like different versions of. I don't know.
He kind of dips in and out.
Yeah, he wasn't like consistently Woody Harrelson.
Sometimes he's serious Woody. Sometimes he's
part Tallahassee, part Marty Hart, part Natural Born Killers.
There's this reveal at the end with Woody that like he was behind it all, and it like I like fake gasped, but like I laughed so hard internally at that moment because it's so obvious. They're like, who betrayed me? It's like there's literally only one person left that could have betrayed you besides Lando, who literally fucked off.
Like super obvious pan fucking left.
Yeah.
And like, there he is in the doorway.
Yeah,
and it's like,
there's some really shoddy filmmaking going on here.
There's also there's a line where the last like 15 minutes of this movie has like
they just stop trying.
It really spirals into something truly abysmal. For again, pummeling you with Star Wars pander trash. There was a moment where they build up to where I think you think they're gonna be saying like the Resistance. And I like said it.
Not just you, me, and TJ all simultaneously with the movie said the rebellion or whatever. And we were completely right.
It's so goddamn predictable.
Oh yeah.
We jinxed the movie in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
It was crazy.
So basically this movie blows. So let's move on to final thoughts. Ben, final thoughts on Disney's Star Wars Solo: A Star Wars Story, Part 1.
I cannot imagine a worse place to be for the Star Wars brand going into Episode 9. This has me truly worried about the future of what they're going to be doing, because if it's anything that resembles Rogue One and, God forbid, Solo, they're going to run Star Wars into the fucking ground, and it is going to be truly a sad day for cinema. But I think we are spiraling down. Last Jedi was shit. Rogue One is garbage until the last 45 minutes, and I don't think I'll ever see I might not see Episode 9 in theaters. I do not trust the brand anymore.
I'd like to add an edit that Ben saw Episode 8 in theaters 3 times.
It's true.
And didn't like the movie. I mean, come on. We'll see it in theaters.
Probably. Maybe. Definitely not opening weekend. Yeah. Whatever. 3 gold dice out of 10. 3 randomly significant gold dice for some fucking reason out of 10.
All right, DJ, final thoughts on Disney's Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story.
I don't want it. I don't. I really wanted the version I thought I was gonna get from Lord and Miller that I think this movie wanted to be, and I think the actors signed up for. I think that all the pieces they acquired to make that movie would have been really good.
Yeah.
And I think they tonally just were trying to go for something else on the studio creative level, and it made a movie that made me get out of my seat and go refill my icy, which I never do. And it was the right call. So, I give it... don't go. That's what I give it.
No ratings.
No rating.
Okay. Star Wars has been done since Return of the Jedi. There's no hope for this future. Star Wars started off as a promising set of indie films by a great director, and then he learned that he could make money on the toys, and that's all it's been since then. The prequels are all just pander trash to get toys sold. The new movies are all just pander trash to get the toys sold. Force Awakens was fine, and it's just been downhill. Everyone has been down and down and down, worse and worse and worse. And yet, this is still finally reviewed. People are loving this movie. People are going out and praising this and saying how much they love it more than The Force Awakens and Rogue One. I'm not one of these people that's like, well, I love this one, but not this one. No, all these new ones are bad. There's 3 Star Wars movies. New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. That's it. All this other shit is just bullshit. I don't need it. Nobody needs it. Nobody knows if they like Star Wars or not anymore. People just think they're supposed to like Star Wars or not like Star Wars. Yeah. They're just reacting to reactions. Nobody actually has opinions on this shit anymore. Nobody knows what this is. It's just nonsense. I give Disney Star Wars Solo, whatever the fuck it's called, 2 stars. I don't care. Two hyperfuels. 2 hyperfuels.
In caps. Remember, it's in caps.
In capsules, which apparently are very combustible, but they can drop them or what the fuck ever.
They can inject them into the fusion reactor so they can get out of the gravity well so the big giant space tentacle monster can't get them.
Here's my suggestion.
Oh my god.
Watch it on FX in segments. It'll probably be better that way.
Or just shoot yourself in the face.
Oh god.
I wouldn't go that far, but...
It'll be about the same feeling, honestly. You'll feel numb and then nothing for a while.
Watching this movie was like getting forcibly skull-fucked by Star Wars trivia.
And on that note, this has been a review. I'm Scott.
I'm the shell that once was Ben.
I'm TJ. You worry me, Ben.
Join us next week as we review Show Dogs.
Show Dogs! Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Yep. R.I.P. Buster.
All right. Goodbye.